Hey everyone, welcome back to Jim's EV Adventures. One of the hottest topics coming out of GM's Empower event in San Francisco was bidirectional charging, the ability for your EV to not only charge from the grid, but to push power back out to your home or even support the larger electrical grid. I got a lot of comments, and my explanations in the three-part series were basically at the 30,000 foot level. Today, we're doing a detailed, no nonsense primer, dropping down to treetop level where needed. Understanding the difference between V2L, which is vehicle to load, V2H, vehicle to home, and V2G, which is vehicle to grid, can save you thousands of dollars when it comes to selecting your next EV. Now, the market is changing rapidly, but if you understand what's coming and what's possible, you can navigate these changes without ripping every dollar you have right out of your wallet. And I'm going to show you what I do have in place here today. That's V2L with the Hyundai Ioniq 5. It's a game changer. Then we'll look at what full V2H, vehicle to home, and vehicle to grid, V2G, actually require from General Motors. The real costs, and what it means for owners like us dealing with natural disasters and rising energy prices. I'm going to walk you through some of the practical costs involved. And remember, this is no hype, no politics, just clear, actionable information for EV owners like us. So let's cut through the noise and dive into the real data. Let's make sure everyone is crystal clear on the terminology because often these three are confused with each other. Again, V2L, or vehicle to load, is the simplest and most accessible. It lets your EV act like a big portable generator to power individual devices and appliances directly from the charging port like on my Ioniq 5, or the built-in electrical outlets you find on the Chevrolet Silverado EV, the GMC Sierra EV, Ford F-150 Lightning, Rivian R1T, and the Tesla Cybertruck. There are a few models of SUVs out there with some real electrical outlets too, but those are considered all vehicle to load. On my Ioniq 5, I use a V2L adapter that plugs right into the car's charging port. In the US version here, it puts out about 1.8 kilowatts. That's roughly 120 volts at 15 amps. In real life, I have used it to run a portable fridge, lights, a fan, a TV, and I've used it to charge other small devices during trips or short power blips. It's fantastic for camping or tailgating, but it has clear limits. You can't run your whole house air conditioner or other heavy appliances for long, and it's not meant for whole home backup. Recently, I did use it to run a small portable AC to keep our bedroom cool when the power was out because of an accident at a nearby distribution station, and it worked perfectly. Vehicle to home is the next big step. This allows your EV to safely feed into your home's electrical panel so it can run most or even all of your house, or at least some of the critical circuits during a prolonged power outage. It requires the car to safely island from the grid so you're not feeding power back into the utility lines, which would be dangerous. Now, vehicle to grid is the most advanced. Here, your EV doesn't just power your home, it can send electricity back into the utility grid itself. This helps the utility balance supply and demand. It provides frequency regulation. It can respond to peak events. In return, owners can earn bill credits, incentives, or even direct payments. This is what makes EVs a true distributed energy resource, and it's exactly what Sterling Anderson and Wade Sheffer were emphasizing at the GM event. With EVs sitting idle 95% of the time, they can become a massive, responsive grid asset. Now, at the San Francisco GM Empower event, they made it clear that they've already got about 250,000 bidirectional capable EVs on U.S. roads today. And a Silverado EV with over 200 kilowatt hours of battery capacity paired with their home energy system can power an average American home for approximately 5 days during an outage, longer if you're just barely hanging on and not running your AC. Now, that's a game changer for anyone who experiences natural disasters on a regular basis, like we do here in Florida when we're dealing with hurricanes. What this is known as is vehicle to home. Wade Sheffer from GM Energy put it well. Bidirectional charging lets the vehicle return energy to a properly equipped home during a power outage, turning your daily driver into a serious backup power source. Now, on the vehicle to grid side, the V2G side, GM's virtual chargers are now officially live. Once you have the V2H hardware installed and you're enrolled with a participating utility, you can intelligently charge when electricity is cheap or abundant, like if you're charging from your own solar in midday, and then discharge that back to the grid during high demand periods. Again, there's no extra hardware needed beyond the V2H system. It's handled through a simple firmware update and a utility agreement. In other words, the V2H, vehicle to home, becomes vehicle to grid with those firmware updates and an agreement with your utility. Now, GM is already piloting this with PG&E, Pacific Gas and Electric, targeting 52,000 grid-supporting vehicles by 2030, enough to power every home in San Francisco for over half a day. They're also working with DTE Energy and with more utilities coming online very soon. For Florida owners, this could mean real savings on electricity bills while helping make the grid more resilient during summer peaks or during storm recovery. So, what does it actually take to get V2H and V2G working on a GM vehicle? I'm not going to talk about V2H and V2G systems from other providers like Ford, Tesla, and Rivian. You can do the research on that yourself. I'm strictly talking about GM V2G solutions. The good news is that the GM V2G solution is the exact same core hardware as V2H. There's no separate expensive V2G box. Once you have the V2H system, V2G is enabled via software, firmware, and an agreement with your utility. Here are the main components in the GM system. First, you have to have the GM Energy Power Shift Charger. It's a bidirectional level 2 wall charger capable of up to 19.2 kilowatts, 80 amps. It handles fast charging for your vehicle and safe exporting of the power back out to your V2H kit. And that's the second part, the GM Energy V2H enablement kit. And it's the heart of the system, and it includes 3 pieces. The first is the home hub. That is the brain that manages power flow, decides when to island from the grid, and coordinates everything. Then you have the inverter, which converts the high voltage DC power from your EV battery into usable 240 AC power for your home, up to 9.6 kilowatt continuous backup power output. Then there's a third component. It's called the Dark Start battery. It's a small auxiliary battery that powers up the entire system even during a complete blackout when there's zero grid power available. The basic V2H bundle, the power shift charger, and the enablement kit is about $8,000 to $9,000 before installation cost, comparable with the cost of a home-sized generator. If you want even more capability, full GM home energy systems with additional power bank stationary batteries start for between $17,000 and $30,000 depending on the size, and that's again before installation. On top of the equipment, you'll need professional electrical panel upgrades, a dedicated circuit, permits, and a certified installer. That can add between $1,500 and $4,500 or more depending on your home's existing setup. The good news is there's a federal IRA tax credit, state rebates available in some states, and utility incentives. For example, PG&E has programs for up to $4,500 back, and that can cut the net cost substantially. Let's compare all of this to my Ioniq 5's V2L adapter. It cost me under $125, plugs in and works instantly with zero home modification. but it's strictly for small loads. GM system is a full professional whole home and grid integrated solution. Keep that in mind. Now, for EV owners, this technology is incredibly practical. Vehicle to home can keep your refrigerator, lights, fans, and even some AC running for days during power outages due to a natural disaster. Adding vehicle to grid opens the door to earning more money or credits by supporting the grid when it needs the help the most. Now, GM has clearly put real engineering and investment behind this. It builds directly on the battery chemistry and utility partnership that we covered in the 3-part series that I just finished regarding the GM Power event, where this project was really updated. Links to those videos are included below, and if you want to watch those, please do. I want to point out something else. It's, as with all new technology, early adopters are going to pay more. But as this technology matures, I expect the price to decrease substantially. Drop a comment below. Would you consider installing a bidirectional vehicle to home or vehicle to grid system at your house? Have you already used a V2L on your Ioniq 5 or another EV? What's your biggest concern? Cost, complexity, or something else? Now, I will be monitoring the comments and responding where I can. If this deep dive has been helpful, please smash the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Check out the full 3-part GM series linked in the description below, along with all the products that I have links to below as well. I want to thank you for watching. Stay charged, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there or somewhere along the route from point A to point B. And stay safe and stay powered up. See you all real soon.